Hey, Ed here with Ed Ferrigan Coaching. So I want to talk for a few minutes here about avoidant attachment styles. So just to clarify, attachment styles are behavioral patterns that get adopted because of certain things that trigger the fight, flight, freeze response when we're tiny babies and we're growing up. These patterns become embedded in our nervous system. We identify with these patterns, and then we think that's who we are and we think that's normal. But other people that are either securely attached or anxious attached, they see it differently. Like they will see you, like they'll see your patterns, and it'll actually, if it's a securely attached person, they'll behave like a securely attached person. If it's an anxiously attached person, they'll behave with anxious attachment behaviors. So the dilemma is how do we, one, stop identifying with these avoidant attachment behaviors? There's several things we can do. One thing you can do is do things that you normally wouldn't even consider doing or you wouldn't do, like flirting, for example. Let's say you're interested in somebody, and remember, the avoidant attachment behaviors is you'll pull somebody in, you're probably really good at it, but then you keep them at arm's length. Well, one of the things you could do that will poke at that structure is to just flirt with the person. Like, look at them a certain way, like lovingly, and then, find ways to just flirt. And then, leave it at that. Don't go any further with it. And then after you, later that evening or later in the day when you're away from the person, feel into your body, like what did that flirting feel like? Was it scary? Was it, did your body get tight in certain places? And then what starts happening is you'll literally, because what you're doing when you're flirting, you're changing the pattern. You're poking at the structure that thinks you got to lock down on a certain structure in order to survive. But the brain doesn't actually know that that event was 30 or 40 years ago and that you don't have to keep holding on to that structure. So you want to do things like maybe holding hands in public. I used to date somebody that didn't like affection in public. So if no one was around, she was fine. But if there was people around, there was an avoidance to intimacy. So just let's say that's you, for example, then what you can do is hold hands. If the person, if you're a woman and the guy wants to hold your hand, great. It's up to you to decide if you want to reach over and grab their hand. But the point is that you're moving towards intimacy. So anything that moves you towards intimacy, whether it's holding hands, whether it's flirting, whether it's looking at them with really emotional eye contact, like sweetness in your eyes, like, oh my God, I love who you are. That will usually, versus real serious and just looking at them, because that's the tendency of an avoidant person. They'll look at the other person with a seriousness. There's not a softness or a tenderness that is consistent. Sometimes that might be there because there's unconscious strategies to pull people in, but then you might push back as an avoidant attached person. So be aware of that. So what you're trying to do is use intimacy maneuvers to test it. They don't even need to know you're doing this. You just want to practice it and go, whoa, that was really scary, and then breathe into it. And there's a whole nother way to manage that when you do feel uncomfortable. But more importantly, I want you to bring in, was my life in danger after I did that, or when I was doing it? How did it feel? Maybe uncomfortable because you're not familiar with it. And slowly but surely, what will start happening is you'll dissolve at the fringes these patterns that are holding you stuck and also repelling people at some point in your relationship. Hope that's helpful. Many blessings. Look forward to talking to you in the next episode. Hey, Ed here real quick. I just completed an update to the Conflict Harmonizer. If you're in a relationship and you're having challenges, get this free ebook that will help you to turn things around right now. Go to edferrigan.com/conflict-harmonizer. See you there.